Well, hi there, and welcome again to Industrial B2B Marketing. My name's Jamie Wade, and I'm the Director of Wade Business Media. Strategy. It's absolutely critical for any business and any part of the business, but none more so than marketing. So what I want to talk about today is, where to start when you're putting together a marketing strategy. In my experience, I've found that a lot of industrial suppliers and service providers, particularly suppliers and service providers to the mining sector, aren't or don't really have answers to a lot of very fundamental questions in relation to marketing themselves, their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and their competitors. So I've put together a list of questions that will help you answer some of those or flush out, some of those weak spots in your business. And the first thing you've got to be able to ask is, well, how's business? I mean, is business slow? Is it really slow? How much work have you got in the pipeline? Because it really is the forerunner of, a lot of your marketing activities in terms of how your business is performing and how your business is likely to perform in the short, medium and long term. Second question you've got to ask yourself, well, what are the big challenges right now? Is it you're not getting enough leads? Is it sales? You're not getting enough sales? Is there some operational issues? Are there some issues related to the sales performance? Are your competitors starting to take your market share? These are some very important questions that you need to get to the bottom of. The next question is really, there's no right or wrong answer to this, but how are your marketing decisions made? Who's involved in that process? If you have a marketing manager, well, what level of authority does that marketing manager have? What's the scope of their accountabilities and responsibilities? Do they sign off on marketing decisions? Do they make those decisions unilaterally, or are other stakeholders in the business brought into that? It'd be rare if it was unilateral, given that marketing and sales work so closely. So, ask yourself, well, how are marketing decisions made? And are the stakeholders, the right stakeholders, being brought into those conversations? The next key thing about, coming up with a strategy is answering the question, did you meet your sales revenue budget last financial year? And if not, why not? Was it market conditions? Was it some issues with inferior product or service? So, you really want to start drilling down in terms of analysing and coming up with some reasons as to why there might be a difference there. Next question, excluding sales calls. Well, what type of plan have you put in place to promote your business? Now, one thing that really infuriates me is when I ask people, well, what's your marketing plan? What's your strategy to get more sales or to increase the profile of your business? And in a lot of cases, the answer will be, we're just going to make more sales calls. Well, look, that is not a marketing strategy. Sales and marketing are two very different things. Yes, they are related, and yes, there are a lot of mutual activities, but marketing and sales are different. And sales calls is not a marketing activity. Okay, so let's be very clear about that, and you've got to be very clear about that to answer that question. So, what type of plan have you got in place to promote your business? Be honest with yourself. If you don't have one, don't bullshit yourself. And say no. If you do have one, well, is it? Does it need dusting off? Does it need review? Is it still relevant in the current operating business environment? Next question, in terms of promotion activities, how do you support your sales team? So this is where we start getting down to the nitty gritty of marketing. And by support, what sort of collateral are you providing? What sort of marketing collateral are you providing for your sales team? And that include things like, flyers and brochures and postcards and all those sorts of things. But we're also looking at things like trade shows. What sort of trade show strategy do you have? Are you going to be exhibiting at any trade shows? Maybe they're relevant to your business, maybe not. What systems do you have in place? Do you have a CRM, a customer relationship management system, to track the level of sales activity and opportunities out there? And that's very important right now. But it's more about, I guess, providing, marketing, providing the right material to enable your sales team to pitch and approach your customers and leads with confidence, with professional material that promotes your business and your company solutions. Next question, how do you reach people that haven't heard of your company and your services? So a lot of the time you talk to companies. I've spoken to suppliers and service providers and they're, about their marketing. Their response is, most of our marketing is done by word of mouth. Well, that's fine if you've got a small clientele and it's a fairly niche business. But, when times are tough, you are going to have to start looking further afield and start trying to get some new customers into the business. So, how are you reaching the people that you haven't heard of? How are you, communicating what your company does? And communicating it in such a way that you're highlighting the unique aspects of your business. Very important question. How much promotion did you budget for last year? Budgets are absolutely critical for any business, and especially so in marketing, because a lot of industrial suppliers and service providers, particularly smaller companies, tend to wing it when it comes to marketing activities and promotion activities. They get a sales rep ring up from a mining publication or a B2B publication with an offer of a half page at crazy prices. And look, it's absolutely not. I would never recommend that you proceed with your marketing activities on that basis. You want to have a good plan in place and a good strategy that forms a foundation, and then any opportunities or any proposals that are coming in from media, B2B representatives, you've got to weigh up. Are they aligned with your marketing objectives? If so, well, give them consideration. If not, well, just get on, delete and get on with your business. But it's very important to make sure that you've got a budget for promotion. Look at what worked in the last 12 months and what didn't. That's a very important thing to do. A lot of companies simply don't do that in terms of measuring where their return on their investment in marketing. So have a look, see where you got the most leads, or see where you and it is, if you can't, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. It's as simple as that. So have a look at what worked over the last 12 months or in your previous financial year, and that'll give you a good idea of perhaps what you should look at investing in over the next 12 months. The next question, who are your customers by job type? I am absolutely gobsmacked at the number of companies out there who do not know, particularly people in marketing roles or particularly people with the marketing remit at their company, who cannot answer this very, very fundamental question. If you don't know who your customers are by their job type, and I mean specifically, you're in trouble. And that also means, where they work. What is the persona of your customer? And that's a very important question in marketing. It doesn't just apply to industrial B2B, but the persona is, well, who is it? And it goes beyond demographic. It's more than just, the job type, the industry classification, where the company's located and so on. So it does come down to some issues like, well, what is this person's buying patterns? What influences, what goes through their head when they're making purchasing decisions. So these are the things you need to consider. Where are your customers based? That's extremely important. There's no point advertising, spending $50,000 in a national business-to-business publication when you're only servicing your state. That's just a waste of money. So be smart about it, and think very carefully about where your customers are. What are your customers' challenges and problems? Again, this comes back to that persona. And how do your solutions meet those challenges and problems? Another important question, who's your main competitor, and why should a prospect or customer go with you instead of your competitor? This is a really critical thing, because there, with so many Me Too's out there in the market, what is your point of difference? Simply relying on your company record to get you through the next 3 years, particularly in this environment for mining suppliers and service providers, is not a very prudent strategy at all. You've got to think very carefully about who I guess your competitors are, and why a prospect. Be specific. What is it that's particularly unique about what your company does? Next in question, again, coming really right back to getting down to the brass tacks with marketing. What's more important for you right now? Is it sales or lead generation? Sales or lead generation? Two very different things. And you need to be able to answer that question, because if you go and invest $50,000 in a print branding advertising campaign, and your expectation is that the phone's going to ring every time you put an ad in that your ad in that publication hits the streets, then it's lead generation that you wanted. It's not. So you've got to be very careful here about what it is that you want. Lead generation, I guess, is more about building your pipeline of opportunities, whereas if you're talking about sales and getting sales right now, well, then you need to adopt quite a different marketing approach. Going back to that earlier question, but elaborating on it a little bit more, what makes your company's solution unique? And again, you've got to be descriptive here, no motherhood statements, and go right to the crux of what makes your product. If it's a variable speed pump or a variable speed drive, or a slurry pump, or a water truck, well, what is it that's unique about that particular equipment or service that no one else in the market is offering? How do you measure the effectiveness of your marketing activities? Too often, companies go and invest appropriately in marketing in terms of a percentage of their total annual sales revenue, but then they don't measure it. Well, if you don't measure it, if you don't monitor it, you can't manage it, and you won't be able to determine where best to invest moving forward. So it's absolutely critical. So make sure that any leads coming in the business, any inquiries, you track them. Are they coming in through the front desk? Are they coming from your website, from trade shows? These are very important questions that you've got to ask. Who's your ideal customer? Who is your ideal customer? An absolutely fundamental question that you've got to be able to answer. Your ideal customer is more than just a customer who pays their bills on time and doesn't complain. Your ideal customer, you've got to really think about what's the most profitable part of your business, and what sort of customers, in order to be, I guess a profitable business. Well, who are the type of customers, and what is the nature of their business? Are they big mining companies? Are they small mining companies? Are they iron ore producers, or are they nickel producers? I mean, who are these people, and exactly what what influences their purchasing decisions, and what sort of equipment are they interested in? Are they just interested in the product, or is it more about aftermarket sales and service? So very important questions. Another important question, are you launching any new products or services over the next 12 months? Very important, because if you are, and most companies will release a product, I mean, it depends, but on average it's on about a quarterly basis, then you really want to be looking at having a promotion campaign that's in line with that. So you're investing when those new product announcements are going to make. And a simple or an obvious example of that is, print advertising. So you're placing your advertisements in editions over a 12-month period on a quarterly basis, or whatever it might be. You can always change those bookings. They're never written in stone, despite what some publishers might tell you. So very important, in terms of when you are releasing new products and services. Okay, we're nearly there. Are there any projects that you've completed for a customer where they were absolutely delighted with the outcome? Would they be willing to allow you to write a case study on the project? Testimonials are marketing gold. Testimonials are marketing gold. And if you can get your customers to provide testimonials, recommendations and referrals that you can use in your marketing activities, well, that's as good as it gets. Look, a lot of the time it costs you nothing. And if you get it, well, that's great. You can put it, you can repurpose it all throughout your marketing literature. Okay, final question to ask, are there people in your organisation that could confidently talk about trends and developments in your industry? Start to identify the people in your company who are the experts, and start tapping into those people, getting them to they may be cynical about marketing. They may be from an engineering background, and a lot of people from that background tend to view marketing as a bit of black magic. But you want to try and get those people involved in your marketing activities. Tap it into them, because especially from a content marketing point of view, they're extremely helpful, because it's all about providing value for your customers, or perceived value. And if you can communicate that by harnessing the knowledge and the experience and the expertise of your experts, then you're going to go a long way to promoting your company successfully. So there you are. There's a number of questions that you need to start thinking about, particularly in tough times, but at any time really, the questions that you need to ask yourself before you can start developing a strategy for your marketing and promotion activities.